What a beautiful day. And the scenery is heavenly. And why not talk about another beautiful day that's coming and finish off my thought about the wedding supper of the Lamb. Revelation 19 verse 7 talks about being excited, rejoicing, exulting in the fact that the wedding celebration of the Lamb has come. It's finally come. And then in verse 8 it says, and the bride has got herself ready. So this is the imagery that God wants us to tune into, the idea of a wedding. Yes, the focus is on the Lamb, but it wouldn't be a wedding without a bride. And this bride has got herself ready. That's a great word picture for us. Just think about, my own wedding. We got engaged, and then about a year out, we said that's the day we're going to get married. So it was a lot of planning, a lot of thinking going into that. And Carolyn and her mom going all over the place looking for the perfect wedding dress. We actually imported it from Europe at the time, at a beautiful train and a veil. And that moment, when everybody stands in the ceremony and the organs trilling, and she appears at the door. This is the imagery. Startling, beautiful, majestic. The bride has got herself ready. So there's a few lessons that we can learn from that. Paul tells us something else in Ephesians 5, that the bride is going to be presented to Jesus because he has washed her in the Word, and she is spotless, stainless, without blemish. And it's the washing of the Word. So what is it? The bride got herself ready, or she's been made ready by Christ? I think it's both. It's got an overtones of the virgins, the 10 virgins, and their oil being ready for that moment. And so we need to reflect on that and think about that. There's a few lessons that help us the day-to-day living. When you get married and you plan, it's obsessive. It's always on your thoughts. Who are you going to invite? What's the colors? What's the food? What are we going to do? It gets your attention. I think that's the first lesson, is that the wedding supper of the Lamb we should be obsessed with that, thinking about that and what that's going to be like. I think also this idea that the bride is permitted, or some translations say that she's given her attire. Can you imagine that today? A bride in America being told what to wear? Well, this is the idea, but there's a lesson in there, because her character is revealed by her clothing. So this is the picture of a stainless, spotless, without blemish bride. And the clothes signify, as you'll see in verse 8, the righteous deeds, or the righteous acts of the saints. And so this is the analogy that we've talked about this before, but it's really important we get that right. A lot of people, think there's merit in good deeds. Even in Buddhism, it's like, you do enough good deeds, you'll get to nirvana, or whatever it may be. If you do enough good deeds, God will welcome you into heaven. But you have to really see this idea that the bride is attired, and then it's the good deeds of a saint. So what would be the analogy? Well, today, many people are doing the total opposite. They live like a married couple, but they're not married. They're living together, sleeping together, eating together. Everything they're doing is like they're married, but they're actually not. Although some people eventually get to that point. But the whole point of Jesus is saying to us that you get married and then you act like a married couple. There's privileges from consecrating or entering a covenant with someone, promising to love them, to cherish them till death do us part. then you get the privilege of being married. Now, that's kind of out of date and old-fashioned maybe today, but this is the biblical message. In the same way that you can't act like a Christian until you've become a Christian. You might be able to do good, but no, you have to say, I do. The same way that you make that promise as you get married, you say, I do to Jesus. You fall in love with Jesus. You get focused on your relationship with Jesus. You're obsessed with Him. You're the only one that you think about, and no others are welcome into that relationship. And so, this is the day that's coming. Like that, the sun is bursting through there, the clouds. Jesus is going to burst through the clouds one day, and it's going to be a bridal march procession extravaganza. The bride, the beautiful bride of Christ. I'm thinking of an old hymn that says, what a day that will be when my Jesus I will see. Now look upon His face and tell the story saved by grace. What a day, glorious day that will be. So remind ourselves, there's an event coming. It's a wedding. There's an attire that's provided by God. There's a consummation and the beginning of forever. What a day that will be. What's the important thing? Well, you say I do to Jesus, and He dresses you. You have robes of righteousness, and you live obsessed and thinking about the day when He's going to break through those clouds, and we will forever be with Him. This is the story of Revelation, the end of all things as we know it, the wedding supper of the Lamb. Maranatha.